We're back for more on the Abacos. Last week we did our first 8 islands that we liked, and this week we're saving it for our top 3 islands, which we're really excited to tell you about.
Yes, remember we were stuck in the Abacos for 7 weeks due to engine issues, so we visited 11 islands and we just ranked them in order of what we visited. There are so many more islands and places to see. We didn't get to them, but we want to tell you about the ones we did get to. Alright, so let's jump into number 3, which is Green Turtle Key. So we're headed now off to Green Turtle Key, one of the most famous keys.
One good thing about being here this time of year is that there's plenty of wind. So if we time it right, we're able to sail pretty much 100% of the time. It makes me happy.
We are getting off the boat. This is a first in like a week. We are headed to Green Turtle Key, do some biking, check out the island a little bit, find some internet. First of all, it was settled in the 1770s, and it was named after the many green turtles, surprise, surprise, that lived there at the time. And in 1780, the Spanish actually tried to take the island, but with the help of the South Carolina militia, the Loyalists were able to defend their island, and without a single shot fired, the Spaniards left.
You know, I really liked the Loyalist sculpture garden.
That was given to the Loyalists who supported the locals to fight off the Spaniards.
It was really well done. It was kind of eerie, like seeing all these bronze busts, but I mean, those were all pro.
New Plymouth was an interesting settlement. It almost looked very British in the architecture, even though a lot of it had been destroyed during Hurricane Dorian.
Is that the fruit? The durian fruit that you're talking about?
Dorian.
Oh, okay.
The island is definitely coming back after Dorian, though it is pretty sleepy still. A lot of the shops are closed, but there were quite a number that were open. We got some bread from Our Daily Bread. We went to several shops that we could get provisioning from, and they had a decent amount of groceries and things that we needed. So that was.
So you don't have to go back to Marsh Harbor. You can just kind of stay out, which is really good.
There's also a new dinghy dock in New Plymouth, which was great. The anchorage is not so nice. You're kind of not in any protected area. You're right in front of the entrance to the harbor, the cut for the harbor. It's not that great, but it is easy access to New Plymouth for a day or two. And also Pineapple Bar, which is literally right in front of where you drop anchor.
Oh, give me a hug. Oh, yeah. Oops, trying to get fancy. That's when we get hurt.
It is Thanksgiving Day, and we
Give thanks.
give thanks for you.
Yes, we do.
And we are off on a tour of the north part of Green Turtle Key. We're gonna take our bikes and head
And we
down there.
mainly need to get some exercise because we haven't gotten a whole lot. Anyway, you just never know what you're going to see. It's always fun to get out and explore.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do.
And what we would recommend, if you have folding bikes, I would recommend anchoring at the anchorage that you see, because then you can take your bike into New Plymouth, which doesn't have very pretty anchorages, and get a lot of exercise because of it. This anchorage is beautiful. I recommend getting in there, and it's got really good easterly coverage.
All right, rank number 2 is
Manawarky!
Manawarky is a beautiful little key with a great anchorage outside of the harbor. It was in beautiful, clear, turquoise water with a view of the ocean just on the other side, because at this point of the island it gets really narrow.
We're at a shallow anchorage right now, which is very common for the Bahamas. You practically don't see any monohulls here because most of the really good anchorages, like the one we're at right now,
or, 4, 5, 6 feet. We're pushing the limit on this one. I'm gonna go check the anchor and just see how it's doing. I didn't see any slippage last night on the Anchor Pro. So the cruising lifestyle is all about exploration. So there's Blown Away over there, and I'm gonna go check out this beach. Yeah, this place is super laid back, and you can walk this whole island yourself. You don't even need a bike. Just take your dinghy into onto the beach, land it on the beach, and just walk to the left, walk to the right, and get some great exercise.
If you go north on the island, you end up on a road that's all private houses. If you go to the right, you end up on the road that heads down to town.
Talking on the Coconut Telegraph. I tell you what, this thing is heavy duty. It still has a wiring, of all things.
And town was pretty interesting. I think we literally rode every street with our bike in town.
Settlement, kind of. Not really a town.
The settlement.
Like a settlement.
This is the clinic. Cute little post office. And
Education, Science, and Technology.
at one time this was the library. Beginning in 1798, some loyalists came and settled there, and the residents started farming. And then a shipwreck sailor came on the grounds. His name was Benjamin Albury, and he started building wooden boats, and that island is known for that industry. But they also have wood carvings or canvas bags, and we got to see a lot of that when we were there. It was pretty neat. It was a very super cute town. It was very chill, very sleepy, just a really neat place to visit and relax.
And they have a great grocery store. I was shocked for such a small island how good the grocery store was.
Wow, this is big. Hello, how are you?
Well, we put their head in here. Love this place. Never gets old. Mush.
All right, let's go. It's deep enough.
All right, Admiral says it's time to go.
Bird's coming.
That was graceful. That's graceful.
All right, moving on to our number one island. I'm sure it's no surprise to any of you, and that is Elbow Key. Elbow Key, most known for Hopetown. You can see our trip to Hopetown in episode 178. And we're not going to actually focus on Hopetown during this video because we've got that other video. Today, we're going to focus on the coolest place on Elbow Key, which is called Tahiti Beach.
Oh, Tahiti Beach! Now, here's one thing they don't tell you there, and you only heard it here on the Blown Away channel, is you need to make sure you have your French Polynesian visa ready, because this place is so much like Tahiti that you'll get jet lag when you get there, and you need special credentials, right?
That's right. Just to go back to Hopetown for a second, it was founded in 1785 by a widow from South Carolina. She brought her 4 children with her, and they escaped from the American Revolution, and that's what started Hopetown. Tahiti Beach really has nothing to do with Hopetown other than it's on the same island. But at low tide, some magic happens. This sandbar appears, and then a couple of hours later, the sandbar disappears. But it's one of our favorite places because, one, the name. How could you not just love it for the name? But also, you just never know what's gonna happen at Tahiti Beach. Tahiti Beach is a sandbar that pops up at low tide and disappears at high tide. So there's only a few hours where people can actually be out on the sandbar enjoying it. And right now we are just coming down to low tide, so we are enjoying it. And today there's no one here, it's empty. It is just stunning. From the air, walking on it, it is one of the most beautiful sandbars that we've seen in a long time.
One day, we had this guy coming up on the dinghy and he says, I've got a very special request for you. And I'm thinking, this is odd. And he said, would you mind marrying me and my girlfriend? And we had like a 30-minute lead time. And boy, it worked out great.
Well, this is a fun, unexpected interruption to our day. We're going to a wedding.
It was super ideal. And they wanted to do it on the shore. And I said, no, you got to get in the dinghy and go to the little Tahiti Beach, which was revealing itself as an island as the tide went down lower. And it was one of the coolest wedding photo shoots I've ever seen.
It was beautiful. They had already eloped and gotten married, so this was more of a picture opportunity for them. They had hired a photographer and hired a minister, and unfortunately the minister couldn't make it. So Brown was able to act as the minister, and I acted as the drone pilot.
You rocked that drone.
It was so fun because I droned that area so many times. So it was pretty familiar to be able to figure out what I wanted to get. Just a special gift for them. We loved getting to meet them and getting to
what
know
a
them as
great
well.
couple. They are emergency air ambulance medics in Alaska. And so they go to the outlying areas to help save people's lives.
We just wish them well in their new life together back in Alaska.
And you never know who you're going to see at Tahiti Beach. You remember when the thirsty Cuda showed up?
The thirsty Cuda is here! That's awesome. Yeah, the thirsty Cuda. That was a very cool showing.
We had only heard about that, and normally it comes out later in the season when it's not so cold, when schools are out, and it's a big deal.
It's a floating restaurant bar that comes up and drops anchor at Tahiti Beach, and they'll make you food as well as serve you drinks, and it's just a special barge that if you get to experience it at Tahiti Beach, you just never forget it.
And it arrived by special request because they were having a convention of songwriters, and so part of the convention was to have a special visit by the thirsty Cuda. And we got the benefit from that. It was a great day. We met all these interesting people. Songwriters were so fascinating.
Yeah, from Nashville. They were really interesting.
Yeah, and they had some concerts all over the island over the period of a week in different places. And then they had the auction.
Yeah, to raise money for the Abacos and for rebuilding, which we thought was for a great cause.
And we stayed at Tahiti Beach for about a week straight, and every single day was distinctively different. You just never know what's going to happen there.
The other great thing about Tahiti Beach is really the closest thing you get to being in the Exumas.
It is, you're right. But if you can't make it down to Eleuthera or the Exumas, you have to go to Tahiti Beach.
Well, thanks so much for watching our second video on the ranking of the Abacos Islands. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new from it.
Guys, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share this with your friends. Write some comments down there.
Stay tuned for next week. We'll have all of our boat projects that we completed when we were at the dock waiting for our engines to be fixed in Marsh Harbor. So some interesting boat projects and some tips that you're going to learn that I think will help you out if you have a boat.
Yeah, we're doing them and you don't have to. You can just sit there and watch, which is, I think, that's my favorite type of boat project.
Exactly. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you all, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Have a great one.